So what if we could teach an AI to speak the language of our own cells? I mean, really understand them. In this explainer, we're going to break down how a team of researchers did exactly that, and it led to this absolutely stunning discovery that could completely change how we fight diseases.
Just imagine, for a second, an AI that doesn't just crunch biological data, but actually finds a brand new way to help our own immune system fight something like cancer. And no, that is not science fiction. It's the incredible result we're about to unpack right now.
The scale of this challenge is just immense. Our bodies are made of trillions and trillions of cells, and each one is its own little universe of genetic activity. We have technologies that can listen in on them, but the sheer volume of data, it's like trying to hear a single voice in a stadium packed with trillions of people. So how on earth do you find the signal in all that noise?
Well, this is where a really cool technology called single-cell RNA sequencing comes into play. It essentially gives us a snapshot of which genes are switched on or off in any given cell. But here's the problem. Analyzing that raw data is like being handed a book in a language you've never, ever seen before. You can see the letters, the words, but you have no idea what they mean.
And this is where the researchers themselves had this total light bulb moment. They noted that the complexity of biological systems seems unrivaled outside of language itself. They realized that the way genes and cells talk to each other, it's a lot like a language. It has its own grammar, its own context. And that one insight, well, it changed absolutely everything.
Right, so that led to the big aha moment. If biology acts like a language, then why not use the tools we've literally built to understand language? I'm talking about large language models, the AIs that power things like ChatGPT. The question became, could we somehow translate all that messy cell data into simple text that these AIs could actually read?
And the solution they came up with was this brilliant invention, the cell sentence. It's such a beautifully simple idea. Instead of some complex table of numbers, you represent an entire cell by just listing its most active genes in order. You're basically turning raw, complicated data into a sentence where the words are genes. This was the Rosetta Stone they needed.
And the process itself is surprisingly straightforward. So first, you measure all the gene activity in a cell. Then, you rank all of those genes from the most active to the least active. And finally, you just write out the names of the top genes as a simple string of text. And just like that, complex biology becomes simple text, totally ready for an AI to start reading.
So, armed with this brand new language, the researchers trained a massive AI they called C2-ST-scale. And they fed it over 50 million of these cell sentences. They weren't just feeding it data points anymore. They were actually teaching it to read biology.
And they went big. I mean, really big. The largest version of this model has 27 billion parameters. You can think of parameters as all the little knobs and dials an AI can tweak to learn and make connections. The more it has, the more nuanced its understanding can become. And just like we've seen with other AIs, they found that as the model got bigger, its fluency in the language of our cells just got better and better. And the result of all this? C2-C scale didn't just get big, it got incredibly good. On a whole range of biological reasoning tasks, it started outperforming existing highly specialized AIs that were built just for this stuff. It even outperformed general-purpose giants like GPT-4o. It had become a true biological specialist.
So, what's the big difference here? Why is this such a leap forward? Well, previous models just crunched numbers for very specific, narrow tasks. C2S scale, on the other hand, understands the language of cells, and that makes it incredibly versatile. It can predict, it can generate, it can interpret information, and it can connect that raw cell data with the vast library of knowledge we have in biological texts. Okay, so now for the ultimate test. It's one thing for an AI to understand data that already exists, but could this thing actually make a brand new, real-world discovery? The team decided to find out by sending it on a virtual drug hunt. And this really was the make-or-break question. Could the AI move beyond being just a really smart analyst and actually become a discoverer? Could it find a drug with an effect that no human scientist had ever reported before in history? The way they designed this experiment was just brilliant. They basically programmed the AI with a very specific mission: find a drug that makes cancer cells more visible to our immune system. But, and this is the key part, only when a particular immune-boosting signal was already active in the cell's environment. So it had to be a conditional effect.
So the AI went to work, sifting through thousands and thousands of compounds in silico, which means entirely on the computer, searching for the one needle in the haystack that had this precise conditional effect. And what it found was something nobody saw coming.
C2-scale's top hit was a drug called silmitasertib. The model predicted that this exact compound would perfectly fit the criteria. It would boost the immune visibility of cells, but only in the presence of that specific immune signal.
And here is the real kicker. When the researchers went and checked all of the scientific literature, they found nothing. Not a single mention. As they put it, this effect had simply not been reported. No one had ever documented this. The AI had found something completely, totally new.
Of course, a prediction from an AI, no matter how cool, is just a hypothesis. The discovery wasn't real until it was proven in a wet lab, with actual human cells. This was the moment of truth. And the results were just stunning. In the lab, on real human cells, the combination of the drug and that immune signal caused a massive 37.3% increase in a key marker that helps our immune system spot threats. The AI was right. It was absolutely spot on.
And the proof was just undeniable. You can see it right here. The drug by itself did almost nothing, but when you combined it with the immune signal, boom! The effect was significant and strong, exactly as the AI predicted. This novel, context-specific prediction was validated in human cell models it had never even seen before.
So, what does this one incredible discovery mean for the future? I mean, this is bigger than just one drug. It really signals a profound shift in how we do medical research, opening the door to an era we might start calling the age of the virtual cell.
This whole approach just changes the game. Instead of spending months or even years in a lab, we can now run these massive virtual experiments, testing thousands of drugs on these virtual cells in a matter of hours. It makes discovery radically faster, way cheaper, and it points toward a future of truly personalized medicine, predicting how a drug will work based on a specific patient's unique biology.
Think about it. We have successfully taught an AI the fundamental language of our own biology. And the question this leaves us with is a thrilling one. Now that we have this incredible new translator, what mysteries of the human body are we going to ask it to solve next?